Hey everyone, welcome back. Over the next 7 to 10 days, the United States will experience a series of powerful winter storms, each bringing its own combination of heavy snowfall, freezing rain, ice accumulation, and even severe weather to different regions of the country. As this period of heightened winter activity unfolds, a significant Arctic blast will also push southward, ushering in dangerously cold temperatures that could lead to record-breaking lows in some areas. With multiple storms developing in rapid succession, the upcoming days will be marked by treacherous travel conditions, power outages due to ice accumulation, and an increased risk of severe thunderstorms and tornadoes in the south. The combination of these elements makes it crucial for residents across the country to stay informed and prepared for rapidly changing weather conditions. The first of several winter storms is already in progress, bringing a wide range of impacts to different parts of the country. Across the upper Midwest, snow has already begun falling, with increasing intensity expected throughout the day. As the system moves eastward, the northern Ohio Valley and the Northeast will experience a mixture of heavy snowfall and ice accumulation, with travel conditions quickly deteriorating in areas where freezing rain takes hold. In parts of the Midwest, especially North Dakota, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, winter storm warnings have been issued indicating the expectation of significant snowfall that could make road conditions hazardous. Meanwhile, in the Northeast, similar warnings and advisories are in place, particularly in southern New England, where the combination of snow and ice will create especially challenging conditions. As the storm progresses into the evening and overnight hours, freezing rain will continue to spread across parts of Pennsylvania and Maryland, raising concerns about ice accumulation that could lead to power outages and dangerous road conditions. The development of ice storms is particularly concerning because even small amounts of ice can make roads nearly impassable, while heavier accumulation can bring down tree branches and power lines, adding to the overall hazards posed by the storm. But before we get into the details, hit the subscribe button, like this video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. As this first system moves through, another storm is already developing and is set to impact the country early next week. This second system is expected to take shape over the Central Plains before moving into the Ohio Valley and the Mid-Atlantic region by Tuesday. Snowfall from this storm will be widespread, stretching from Nebraska and Kansas through Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and into the Northeast. Some areas in the Central Plains and Midwest will see several inches of snow, with localized spots potentially receiving over a foot depending on the exact track of the system. Freezing rain and sleet will once again be concerns in areas where warm air interacts with the cold Arctic air mass surging southward. Cities such as St. Louis, Indianapolis, Columbus, and Pittsburgh could experience a mix of snow, sleet, and freezing rain, leading to a challenging and messy commute for millions of people. As the storm pushes eastward, New England will once again be in the crosshairs for heavy snowfall, with coastal areas potentially seeing a transition to a wintry mix or rain, depending on how much warm air is drawn into the system. Even as this second storm moves out, another powerful winter storm is expected to take shape by midweek. This third system will likely develop over the Central Plains and intensify as it moves into the Great Lakes and Northeast. Unlike the previous storms, which have had somewhat limited impacts on the southern United States, this storm has the potential to trigger a severe weather outbreak in the south. As warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico collides with the advancing Arctic front, conditions will become favorable for severe thunderstorms, damaging winds, and even tornadoes. The areas most at risk include portions of Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee, where previous winter storms have left the ground saturated, increasing the potential for flash flooding in addition to the severe weather threat. Meanwhile, to the north of the system, heavy snowfall is likely across the upper Midwest and Great Lakes region, with some areas in Wisconsin, Michigan, and upstate New York seeing more than a foot of snow. The Northeast will once again be in the path of the storm, with additional snowfall likely for major cities such as Boston, Hartford, and Albany. By the end of the week, another major winter storm is forecast to develop, potentially becoming the most significant storm of the season so far. While the exact details remain uncertain, computer models indicate that this system could bring widespread snowfall from the Central Plains all the way to the East Coast, with additional rounds of ice accumulation and freezing rain possible in the Mid-Atlantic region. Some projections suggest that this storm could bring blizzard conditions to parts of the Midwest and Northeast, with strong winds combining with heavy snowfall to create whiteout conditions and dangerously low visibility. If this storm tracks slightly farther south, it could also bring accumulating snowfall to parts of the Southeast, including areas that rarely see significance. Meanwhile, in the South, the threat of severe weather will remain high, with another round of strong thunderstorms, damaging winds, and potential tornadoes possible from Texas to the Carolinas. As these winter storms continue to impact different regions of the country, a powerful Arctic blast will bring some of the coldest temperatures of the season. By early next week, sub-zero temperatures will plunge into the northern plains and upper Midwest, with wind chills dropping as low as at 40 def in some areas. This dangerous cold will gradually spread southward, reaching parts of the central United States and even the deep south by midweek. Cities such as Denver, Kansas City, and St. Louis will experience temperatures well below normal, while places as far south as Dallas and Atlanta could see their coldest temperatures of the season. By the weekend, this Arctic air mass will continue to spread eastward, bringing frigid conditions to the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. New York City, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C. could see temperatures drop into the teens, with wind chills making it feel even colder. These brutally cold temperatures will not only make travel difficult, but could also lead to an increased risk of frostbite and hypothermia for those caught outside without proper protection. By Sunday morning, the storm should be moving out of the area by 7 a.m., but it will have already left behind a significant amount of snow. So how much snow are we talking? Well, in the beginning, things will start off light, but as the storm moves east, the snow totals will increase. In South Dakota and North Dakota, we're looking at anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of snow, with a few spots possibly reaching 4 or 5 inches in southeastern South Dakota. As the storm moves into Minnesota, we can expect snow to pick up in intensity, and areas in the darker blue zones on the map could see 4 to 6 inches of snow. The Twin Cities could see anywhere from 6 to 7 inches, and even higher totals are possible in places like Minneapolis and Eau Claire in Wisconsin. Once we move further east into Michigan, we're expecting 2 to 5 inches, but places in northern Michigan could see 7 to 8 inches. Southern Ontario is also in line to get 4 to 6 inches of snow, and it'll be a similar story in the Adirondacks, where 6 to 8 inches of snow is possible. For areas near the lakes, including parts of New York and New England, you could see more than a foot of snow in some spots, especially if you're close to the lake. The forecast has shifted a bit from yesterday, but it's still shaping up to be one of the bigger snowstorms of the season so far. The White Mountains and Green Mountains could see 5 to 7 inches, while Boston is likely to get 6 to 9 inches. Connecticut and Rhode Island will get less snow, but New York City is right on the line between rain and snow. Ice could be a bigger issue there, but still, an inch or two of snow is possible by Sunday. And we can't forget about the ice. There's a chance we could see some freezing rain in places like Indiana, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Areas from West Virginia through Maryland and south central Pennsylvania could see up to a quarter inch of ice in some places, which could lead to power outages and really treacherous travel conditions. We need to be especially cautious in the Northeast, where moderate impacts on the roads are expected. Even though the snow totals might not be huge in places like New York City, the ice will make the roads slippery and dangerous. Areas like Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts are also going to have a tough time with travel, particularly around Boston. The Winter Storm Severity Index is showing moderate impacts across a lot of these areas, so if you're traveling, make sure you're prepared for some delays and hazardous conditions. Looking beyond this storm, there's even more to track. The title of this video is "A Train of Snowstorms is Coming," and that's exactly what we're dealing with. The storm I just mentioned is just the beginning. The engine of a whole series of storms lined up. I don't even know where the caboose is at this point. For the next several days, we're expecting a train of storms to hit the U.S., and they're not all going to be snow. As we move into Monday and Tuesday, we'll be watching for snow and ice from Kansas all the way to Virginia. Then, from Tuesday to Wednesday, a much stronger storm is expected to roll through. It's been consistently showing up on the models, and we're seeing a 50 chance of significant winter precipitation from the mountains of West Virginia and Virginia all the way up through the I-95 corridor and into New Jersey and New York City. That's when we're really going to see things start to intensify. There's even another storm right behind that one that could bring snow, ice, and rain all the way from Missouri to Arkansas and the central Appalachians. And who knows, maybe there's yet another system coming after that. Honestly, the storms just keep coming one after another, and I don't think it's going to slow down anytime soon. But it's not just snow and ice we need to worry about. There's a lot of rain in the forecast, too. We're expecting heavy rain to fall across the southeast from Kentucky and Tennessee all the way down to Mississippi and Alabama. These heavy rains are likely to lead to flooding, and we could see some pretty significant rainfall totals in areas from Texas all the way to the Outer Banks. California will also get a lot of rain, with atmospheric rivers bringing tons of moisture into the Sierra and the Cascades. Over the next 7 days, Some areas could see anywhere from 4 to 8 inches of rain, which is definitely a cause for concern, especially when it comes to flooding. Looking at the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, it's clear that we're in for a wet period, especially in the southeast and along the west coast. It's a storm train that just doesn't stop, and each one is bringing a different mix of weather. Some of us are going to get snow, others will get ice, and many of us will see rain. Whatever your weather is, just make sure you're staying up to date and prepared. That's all the weather talk I have for you today, folks. Winter is definitely here, and it looks like February is going to be a wild ride. There are plenty of snowstorms coming, and we'll also have opportunities to track severe weather. So make sure you're prepared and stay safe out there. Don't be scared. Just be prepared. Be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and like the video. I'll see you all in the next one.